What is it that really separates a good team from a truly great one? It's not just about talent or resources, it's about how they think. We're about to dive into this really powerful mindset shift that lets high performing teams basically build their own reality. And it all starts with one simple, kind of counterintuitive idea, right? This is the default setting for most of us. We look for proof, for that external validation before we really commit. But here's the thing, that approach, it's a trap. It keeps us reacting instead of acting, and it locks us in the cycle of just being average, always waiting for permission to be great. And this is the secret. The elite teams, they flip that script completely. They don't wait for the scoreboard to tell them they're winners. No, they start with this unshakable belief in who they are and who they're becoming. And they let that belief drive their actions until the results have no choice but to catch up. So let's actually break down why that old way of thinking is so flawed. This results first approach is fundamentally it's limiting. It means your team's confidence is always lagging behind its performance, never leading it. And this cycle, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy of just okay. You wait for a result, which gives you some belief, sure, and that then leads you to act, but cautiously, right? You're always playing catch-up, never really pushing the boundaries of what's actually possible. Now, let's flip this around and look at the forward-moving model, the one the top performers use to literally create their own reality. This is where the magic happens. It's all about manufacturing momentum instead of just waiting for it to show up. See, this is a virtuous cycle. It all starts with belief. That belief is the fuel for deliberate, confident action. You're not acting cautiously anymore. You're acting with purpose because you already know who you are. And that action, it produces elite results, which then just reinforces that original belief. It's a powerful upward spiral. So, here's the crucial part. This isn't just about positive thinking. It's way deeper. It's about shifting your focus from goals to identity. Why? Because what you want to achieve, that's temporary. But who you are, well, that's the engine that powers every single decision, every single day. And the difference is it's huge. A goal like fewer callbacks is reactive. It's about fixing a problem that already exists. But an identity, we are the company that finishes right the first time. That's a proactive standard. That changes how you train, how you talk to customers, and how you approach that final 10% of every single job. Okay, here's another perfect example. Growing revenue, that's a number. It's a target on a spreadsheet. But becoming the most trusted home service company in our market, that's a reputation. That identity dictates that you slow down, you educate your customers, you build real relationships, which, by the way, is the most sustainable way to grow revenue anyway. See? The identity drives the daily decisions. The goals just measure them. And when that identity is crystal clear to everyone on the team, the culture just transforms. Standards aren't something a manager has to enforce anymore. They rise naturally from within the team. Accountability isn't external, it's internal. People hold themselves and each other to that shared identity. Excuses fade away, and real, genuine confidence takes their place. Okay, so I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually make it real? How do you cultivate this belief-driven identity when you're maybe not quite there yet? Well, it doesn't just appear out of thin air. Belief has to come from somewhere. And it turns out, belief is borrowed. Teams borrow it from their leaders and from the culture that's intentionally built around them. If leaders are always talking about problems, they build a problem-focused culture. But if they consistently reinforce and celebrate excellence, they build a standard-focused culture where belief can actually spread like wildfire. Now, a totally fair question here is, isn't this just wishful thinking? Aren't we just, pretending to be something we're not? It's a fine line for sure, and making that distinction is absolutely crucial. And here is the key. Belief without discipline, that's just fantasy. But belief with discipline, that creates momentum. This isn't about ignoring reality. It's about acting in alignment with the standard you're building, even if you sometimes fall short. You still measure things, you still hold people accountable, but you act from who you are becoming, not from where you are today. So let's make this super practical. I want to give you a challenge. Try adopting one simple, powerful identity right now. For the next 60 days, your identity is simply this: we finish strong. And look, this isn't just a slogan. It's a set of non-negotiable behaviors. It means you take just as much pride in that last 10% of the job as the first 90. It means clear communication and making sure the customer feels totally confident before you pack up and leave. Finishing strong isn't about time. It's about ownership. and that ownership begins with belief. And really, this is what it all boils down to. You can set goals all day long, but your behavior, your team's behavior, will always be governed by what you believe to be true about yourselves. Your identity sets the ceiling. So let's just trace that path one last time. It starts with a declaration. We say who we are. Then we live it. We act it out in everything we do. And over time, we start to see the results of those actions. And then finally, the market, our customers, our competitors, they all confirm what we knew all along. The proof shows up, but only after the belief was put into action. So the question I want to leave you with isn't what are your goals? It's a much more powerful question. Who are you and who is your team in the process of becoming? Because once you can answer that, all the right actions, they just naturally follow.